So, Blue Lock Chapter 336 just released, so let's get into it. It picks up with Karasu and Hiori passing to each other since they're the only players working right now. Hiori sees no course for Isagi, and that's huge because throughout the NEL, Hiori's been the only one who could see Isagi's perfect route and deliver the ideal pass using his metavision. Even though the duo is working together, Hiori doubts he should be the one to score, but Karasu needs him to realize that he is the striker that should take the shot. And this is because Karasu's whole identity since the third selection has been about analyzing weaknesses and choosing the most logical option in the moment. This back and forth ends when Hiori is at the goalpost and Karasu tells him to shoot and then dunks under the ball so it goes in while defending other players. This is actually just insane. Like, this is a real person. It shows total trust and spatial awareness as he blocks defenders while physically removing himself as an obstacle. This alone shows Karasu's awakening is the only thing keeping Blue Lock alive, since Hugo, the number 2 from France, literally just dissed Isagi earlier and is implying that Karasu is the real core needed to control the field. Bachara and Chigiri then praise Hiori, and this makes me happy because he's finally gaining the respect he's deserving of. Because ever since the Ubers match, when he declared he's not quitting soccer and has stopped playing for his parents' expectations, he's been building toward this moment. And I've been watching certain YouTubers saying that Hiori will not be the one to score. And this just baffled me. Because Karasu's awakening allows him to see which striker is right in the moment to score a goal. And he chose Hiori in the other chapter, like the chapter before this. And that decision was purely based on logic, not favoritism, which should make it clear that even though Hiori has always been a support type like Karasu, he can score just as a striker as well, especially since Hiori has always had elite shooting technique and vision but lacked the ego to pull the trigger. Now, Karasu even played Hiori before in the other selections, so he would know he has the capability to score. And that familiarity makes this even more intentional as well. Kaneshiro really knows what he's doing, man. Now that I'm done defending the GOAT, behind Ikiguri.
Is this nigga serious or what?
Let's talk about the Karasu upscale. Because Hugo, the number 2, saying Karasu is the player this team needs, and then disrespecting Isagi by saying it should be him courting with Hiori, not Karasu, is just, it's good glaze for Karasu. And it's a direct attack on Isagi's current value on the field. And it basically shows that for once, Isagi isn't the main brains controlling everything. Whilst Isagi is in conflict over Hugo's words, Rin reminds him that being second best is stupid. And this mirrors the U20 exhibition match as well, when Isagi was overwhelmed by the crowd, but Rin just tells him to calm down and to watch him dominate. This should be a wake-up call for Isagi that he needs to lock in if he wants to hold his own against France without being the team's number 2. But it's okay, there's still hope because time and time again, whenever Isagi's back is against the wall, he devours other players with his abilities. Like Baro in the second selection, Rin in the U20 match, and against Manshine City whenever he unlocked Metavision. Isagi always finds another player or circumstance that allows him to evolve mid-game. I promise I'm not an Isagi glazer. Despite the Karasu and Hiori glaze, even the manga won't fully let them win. Because even after the goal, Ego says this isn't the chemical reaction he desired. And this line is chilling to me because it implies that while this goal is impressive, it's not enough to defeat France at full power. Especially with Loki, Hugo, and the other players observing and adapting to their abilities. I take this as Ego saying that Hiori and Karasu won't be enough to beat France, as I just said, and the others will only see Karasu and Hiori as a true threat, and will eventually isolate him, which means Blue Lock will need a chain reaction involving other people's egos and not just this duo. Now, for my theory of what will happen next chapter and beyond. I think Isagi will not get benched, mainly because Ego said this is not the chemical reaction he desired. I think the chemical reaction he desires is one with Isagi in it, because Isagi not only rises himself up, but takes other players to that height as well. This is seen clear as day in the NEL when he stops Yukimiya and Hiori from giving up on their dreams by drawing out their latent ego. That being said, he's obviously been playing below standards, but he is literally the adaptability genius. He thrives when cornered. When Isagi's back is against the wall, he expands his vision and reconstructs the field to create a new winning formula even in the worst circumstances, and that pattern has been consistent since Chapter 1. So this moment feels less like Isagi being replaced and more like the ignition phase before he restarts himself again to either devour Hyo's logic, or synchronize with Hiyori's new strike ego, or creates a new chemical reaction that ego has been waiting for. Again, I promise, I'm not an Isagi Glazer. But hey, it's Blue Lock. For all I know, Kunigami or Ryo could be the key to winning the game. No diss. Now guys, that is my theory for what will come next in Chapter 337 and beyond. But guys, this is my first time making Blue Lock content, so let me know how it is. Make sure to like and subscribe to support my channel and to tell me if this content is what you guys want. With that being said, see you in the next video. Brolzy out.